Well, here we are at Silverstone for the 16th race of the GB4 Championship. It's been a month, actually, since we had a race over at Snetterton where Max Maserati took over the lead of the championship from Nicholas Taylor. It was an exciting race weekend, but as it was 4 weeks ago, I think we should remind ourselves of what happened in...
Well, highlights then from the 13th race of the GB4 Championship of 2022. A bit of a jump start there from Tom Mills, who received a post-race penalty for the infringement, but Nick Taylor was able to lead from the front row and from pole position on that race down towards the first corner. A bit of side-by-side between the two Kevin Mills racing cars as they would head their way through, battling for second position. Tom Mills holding a defensive line down into Agostini, where Nick Taylor would lock up at the front of the field. Max Maserati coming under pressure from Jack Sherwood as well. As the end of the first lap would happen, Nick Taylor was coming under an awful lot of pressure from both of the Kevin Mills racing cars. Tom Mills first, Jared Wilberski directly behind. It was pretty intense, but behind our battle for fourth position, that was where our eyes were focused. Jack Sherwood straight around the outside of Max Maserati with a super move. It would take him 2 corners to be able to complete the one, but he would manage to get himself up into fourth. Meanwhile, the two Graham Brunton racing cars were battling a bit further down the order. Chloe Grant just getting ahead and keeping ahead of Logan Hanna. Meanwhile, Jack Sherwood was setting fastest lap after fastest lap, closing in on the top 3, setting some super speed as he had done through the couple of days of testing prior. Was absolutely flying this weekend. A bit of a moment for Logan Hanna coming down into the Wilson hairpin, dropping a position to her teammate of Chloe Grant, who'd race her way up into 8th position. Meanwhile, Nick Taylor looking super dominant out front, just calm and cool and collected, and he would take yet another victory. This one though will be a little bit harder. Tom Mills with a bit of a slow start, but our eyes focused on the race lead. Jared Wilberski from second position straight around the outside of Nick Taylor going into the first corner. Taylor could not do anything about it. A super launch from the Kevin Mills racing car, while Jack Sherwood would battle it out once again with Max Maserati. Taylor was feeling the pressure as well from Tom Mills, who'd found his balance as the opening lap would continue. Jared Wilberski was able to clear off, but as Tom Mills was looking on Nick Taylor, Jack Sherwood was fancying his opportunity in the number 78. There wasn't the opportunity just yet, but with Sherwood's pace, the opportunity was coming. Tom Mills, though, straight around the outside of Nick Taylor into the first corner. A little bit of contact between the two, and the wheel was thrown out of Nick Taylor's hand. A bit too deep there from Jack Sherwood coming into the Wilson hairpin. Nearly allowed Max Maserati to try and find his way past the 2 hill speeds directly behind the rear wing of the Elite Motorsports car. For Graham Brunton Racing, it was a bit of a moment for Logan Hanna, who goes straight on and fall back behind her teammate of Chloe Grant. Once again, the two battling out once more as Max Maserati with the full send down the inside of Jack Sherwood into Agostini. Up towards Hamilton though, Sherwood with the up and under, trying to wrestle his way back through. A little bit of a brush between the two of them, and Sherwood would hold the advantage. Then this drama here. Nick Taylor squeezing a little bit as Tom Mills was trying to get down the inside. It was a rear puncture for Nick Taylor, who'd go out and see the barrier, and a front wing missing for Tom Mills. It was high drama towards the end of the race. Jared Wilberski didn't know any of it. He would take the checkered flag whilst all this was happening behind. Max Maserati was able to get through into second position. Then Jack Sherwood was trying to get around the outside of Tom Mills, and Megan Gilks was looking for her opportunity as well. Where would it come? Down into the final corner, and a big send from Megan Gilks. She was able to do it, and then Max Maserati and Jack Sherwood have a drag race towards the line, with Maserati coming out on top in that one, way behind Wilberski. The front row of the final reverse grid race of the weekend would see the Graham Brunton racing cars 1 and 2, but it was Jack Sherwood from third position with the best launch, and a super one around the outside. He would go throwing it in around Riches, and he would take the lead in the number 78 straight away around the outside of Chloe Grant. And of course, everyone then fighting behind that. Max Maserati trying to get his way past Logan Hanna straight away. Megan Gilks with Jared Wilberski. Meanwhile, Tom Mills was taking a very long way around the outside of the Wilson hairpin though. Jack Sherwood was looking very calm and comfortable as the opening lap would proceed. Max Maserati down the inside of Brundle, absolutely sent it in that hill speed number 81. Meanwhile, Megan Gilks around the outside of Chloe Grant in the background. It would give her a bit of front wing damage. Logan Hanna would go straight on at the final corner and drop to the back of the grid. Meanwhile, Nick Taylor was getting past Jared Wilberski on the run down towards turn 1 of the start-finish straight. Tom Mills would manage to get past Chloe Grant down into the Wilson hairpin with a bit of a send, and that would give him third position in the race, as Megan Gilks was having that front wing issue. She'd stay out for a couple of laps before she returned to pit lane, and Jack Sherwood dominant in victory.
Well, that was a month ago now at Snetterton as Max Maserati in the Hillspeed car took over the championship lead from Nicholas Taylor, and just by luck and coincidence and very, very good planning, I'm now here with Max Maserati and Megan Gilks, both from Hillspeed. And I mean, we've got to talk about what's happened at Silverstone now, because Max, you're on pole position for both races, the first 2 races, and there is a bit of drama here because, Megan, you actually qualified fastest for this first race today, but because of a grid penalty you got in that race, the last race at Snetterton, unfortunately you will start fourth, but still very, very good to see both of you having great pace.
I earned pole. I'll call it pole.
Yeah, she still gets the trophy and the money, so I mean that's the thing that matters, but it must be great to be doing so well straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. Really over the moon with how qualifying went. I thought I'd messed it up a bit at the beginning. I went a bit wide at Abbey a couple of laps in, but I just sort of managed to keep my cool and get myself settled back in for a pole position. So yeah, really thrilled with it.
Absolutely, you did. And you know, like Max is now on pole, so I mean, we're going to talk to you in just a second about pole, but from your point of view, Megan, you know, Max is now the championship leader and you're a team. Are you going to be helping him as much as possible, as well as doing as well as you can?
Absolutely. I'm thrilled for Max. He's done a fantastic job to get the pole position for race 2 and also to start on race 1 pole. So yeah, really pleased for him, and hopefully we can work together in the race, maybe even try and break away from the rest of the field, and yeah, see what we can do from there.
Okay, well I've got one more question for you in just a second, but we've got to talk to you, Max, about the fact that you are on pole position for both these races and you are the championship leader, and something that's quite important as we hear an insanely loud car go past is that Nicholas Taylor, your championship rival, he starts 5th today and 4th tomorrow, so there's a bit of a gap there.
There is, but as we learnt at Snetterton, where I qualified 4th for both of those and he was on pole for both of those, anything can happen in GB4. So, you know, I'm so happy to have this because, like, I feel like it's a big reward after the couple of days practice we've had. You know, me and Megan have worked really hard together to maximise, and the team Hillspeed have just been fantastic. You know, putting everything together. Neither of us have been in the car since last month, since the last race. We've done, you know, no testing in between or anything. But we knew what we could do. We came in, we knew we could deliver. So it's really great to have this solidified in 2 poles. But what's important is that we now don't get carried away. We've got to look at the data as if we qualified last. Look for what we can find, because, you know, at the end of the day, we've still got 2 races and a reverse grid race to come. And round here, the slipstream is so powerful. It's kind of like there was one place where Nick would have wanted to qualify 5th. If he could have had a choice of where it was going to be, it would be here. So, you know, I haven't broken away from him yet. It's all going to be about the races, and I think it's going to be really exciting. Can't wait.
We've called you Mr. Consistency throughout the championship. Is this the time for your first race win?
Of course. Yeah,
confident. Well, look, we've got to talk about another thing. I've noticed you're both wearing new overalls today, outfits. I mean, what do you race suits, I guess you call it. Megan, we've got to say that you're looking splendid here with your sponsor Quattro here. And Max, there's a story behind why you're wearing this outfit, I believe.
So from the last race, we had the champagne spraying. And normally, because like the races are quite quick after each other, the first thing I'll do when I get home is take it out, put some vanish in it, throw it in the wash. Because it was like a month break, I got home and forgot to take it out. So I want to say the next day, but the next week I got it out and it was like all moldy. So I was like, don't want to be wearing that again until I get it like properly cleaned and stuff. So apparently the best way to do it is dry cleaning, which I found out yesterday.
Yeah, and well, it's fine. You're looking splendid with your tape and everything there. But Megan and Max, congratulations on qualifying today. Best of luck in the race. And Max may not be mouldy, but he will be clean out on the track, won't he?
Hell yeah.
Okay, good. Well, let's see where we're racing. And remind you, if you've never seen these GB4 cars going around the track here at Silverstone.
Well, this weekend sees us head to the home of the British Grand Prix, Silverstone, on the Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire border. It's a world-renowned circuit. It is one that the drivers absolutely love to come and race around, and in its current configuration there are plenty of challenges out there for them as well. First opened in 1948, it was the first of the circuits to host a World Championship Grand Prix, and in its current configuration it's just over 3.5 miles long, split into 3 sectors, and with all of the work that was done a few years ago, there are now 18 corners on the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. We start from the heritage pits here, which means that the first corner is Copse, and from there it brings you up to the end of sector 1 at the end of the Hanger Straight just before Stowe. From there, sector 2 brings us up towards Brooklands, and it's a short final sector through Brooklands, through Luffield, and then flat out over the start finish line through Woodcut Corner. That is a lap of the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit.
Let's ride on board Max Maserati in this GB4 car around the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. World famous and amazing circuit for these cars. Not quite flat through turn 1, very fast through Copse Corner. Watch the exit, because running wide will incur a penalty. You'll see Max just adjust the mirrors here. He'll be needing those starting from pole position in both race 1 and race 2. We go into Maggots left, keeping it, then tugging right through Beckett's, and then left to open up Chapel. Using a lot of curb there, can unsettle the car, but he settled it nicely there. And then the very important run out onto the Hanger straight. Very long straight here, 780 metres. One of the main overtaking opportunities. You can see him adjusting his mirrors once again. Those mirrors do get affected by the wind, so you can see it moving down. He'll have to set them properly for the race. We now go into Stowe, opening up the entry as much as possible. Nice and smooth on the brakes, and not unsettle the car. Perfect apex on the right-hand side, and then watching track limits again on the exit. We now move right to straighten the car up for the very important braking for Vale and Club. Late apex, turning in strong and late to allow us to go flat out through Club. As we head out onto the Hamilton Straight. Hamilton Straight, 500 metres, so another area where slipstreaming is going to be a big part of the race. The new wing, which connected with the brand new bridge to the hotel on the left-hand side. We're then flat out pretty much through Abbey and Farm Curve. Whether it's flat in the race will depend on your setup. We then get the car nice and straight. You can see Max straightening the car nicely to allow the braking hard into the village. Don't use all the exit because it compromises your run into the loop. You can see him, nice late apex, settling the car for a great exit through the exit, the loop, and through this little kink of Aintree onto the very long 640 metre Wellington Straight. Again, another area for overtaking in the race, with slipstreaming being a big part of the first time we came here earlier in the year. Using all the curb on the right hand side to open up the entry to Brooklands, braking in a straight line to allow us to go nice and deep. We then run out to the edge and then fire it into the final corner, Luffield. Going wide, don't need to make that second apex to get allowed traction because we can still stay on the circuit. Max doing an excellent job of that there. And then through the final little kink, Woodcote on the 770 metre run into the first corner. That'll be where the overtaking is at the start of the race. Can Max hold out from the two pole positions?
Now, I hope you're enjoying the excellent commentary we bring you during these races, provided by Lewis McGlade and former GB3 driver Piers Pryor. Now, Piers tells us he used to do GB3. We've never actually seen any video proof of this. And in a bid to, I guess, persuade us all that he can drive fast, Piers arranged a little social gathering of his own last night in a local sim racing centre, and he invited some GB4 drivers down so he could try and beat them. Let's find out how it went.
Welcome, Logan, to our social event here at Simply Race for the GB3 and GB4 Championship. We've just had the first race. How did that go for you?
It was all right, other than being taken out a few times by stationary cars, funnily enough, just pulling out in front. Hopefully that doesn't happen this weekend.
Anyone that's on the GB4 grid take you out?
I don't think so. I didn't recognise any of the names, but I think there was some that were racing under other names, so it could have been, but...
Smurf accounts, yeah, I've heard about that in the sim racing. Have you got much experience in sim racing?
Not personal kind of at-home experience, but I did do the virtual Le Mans at the beginning of the year with Pro Drive, but that was kind of thrown in at the deep end. But I guess after doing a 24-hour race with a factory team, you kind of pick it up pretty quickly. But at home sim like this, I've not touched since January, so picked it up pretty quickly. But I could see having a lot of practice, what it can do for you.
Yeah. Because a lot of the drivers I know do a lot of sim racing in the background, either at home or they go to simulator centres. Have you ever done a metro preparation on that, or do you more concentrate on other things?
No, I do. I go to base performance with driver coach Johnny Adam, or sometimes he's away, I do it without him. But every round I'll go and I'll spend 2 hours. It is essentially like doing a day in the car, because you can do 3 laps, pick out something and then go straight back out rather than having to wait 40 minutes, an hour, 2 hours to get back out again. If you do that and 2 extra days, you're set. But if you maybe don't have the money to do that Thursday, just get yourself into a sim like that, and it's essentially the same.
So we are joined by racing driver and athlete Jack Sherwood here for ahead of the GB3, GB4 weekend here at Simply Race. How did the first race go for you on the sim?
I'm not going to lie, I hope my race tomorrow doesn't go like that. Struggle for pace, I think, to put it politically.
Do you reckon that was the tyre warming or any procedural issues?
I think we had a leakage with the turbo. So,
yeah.
That would explain a lot.
Blame the team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's never me.
Obviously.
But I thought I would kind of try and make myself feel a bit better after that crushing defeat with some noodles.
Well, if we have a double win tomorrow, then we know what we're going to have to eat next time. Right, we've got Chloe. Chloe, do you want to jump in as well? Yeah, you're going. Bye. Hi, Chloe. How was that race for you?
I beat Jack, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, it was fun. It was really weird. I feel like you personally won because you had practice.
Wait, did I win? Did I win? Did I win?
You did win, yes.
Oh, did I? Oh,
you
thanks
did.
for reminding me.
You're welcome, but you had the head start because you practiced before any of us got here, so I feel like that's slightly cheating. Yeah, it was good fun. It was a lot of shunts, but thank God the damage was off, so we kept going.
A little bit less expensive when you crash in the sim, eh?
Yeah.
Do you have much experience on the sim? I think you did a competition earlier on this year. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I do a bit at home. My home sim's not that great, so I do need to get it upgraded a bit. I did do a competition for Rocket for esports. It was really good. I was winning actually, and then it was Branstad's GP. One of the corners I just lost the rear, and I got second place, which was tough. It was a tough competition, but yeah, it was good fun.
Oh, good. Have you got much practice in the sim? I've just spoken to Logan, your teammate. She uses the sim-based performance. Do you do anything like that to prepare?
Yeah, I like some iZone. I used base once as well. I could do a bit more, but you know, more sport money.
Money.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you were quick on the sim. We were in the Formula 4 car on R Factor 2 here at Simply Race. Have you got much sim experience?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of sim racing for all my life basically, and been quite serious with it. Like I was in the F1 official esports Challenger series last year, or this year. So yeah, I've done a lot of sim racing before.
Oh, okay, so proper sim racing. Okay, not just the playing around. But are you looking forward to being part of the championship? What things are you going to try and get out of this weekend? You got plans for the future?
Well, this is just, I don't know what to expect this weekend. Coming in it, first time ever in a single seater, and not much actual experience. So just taking this opportunity and having a great time this weekend basically, and just hoping for just a good time.
Tell us, how did the race go from your side?
Yeah, race one was really good. I started out with a really good tyre strategy in qualifying, which put me in a good position for the first race. Allowed me to pull a gap. Nick Jukes had a good start, managed to get around the outside of turn one. Good, a little bit of a sketchy move on the grass. I think the stewards will have to look at that one, but really happy with my performance in race one, and glad to take the win for Team Onside Media.
Taking a leaf out of my book for that overtake, I rate that.
Yeah.
So tell us, would you like to dedicate this win to anyone?
I would like to dedicate this win to my co-commentator Lewis McGlade, because he's not here unfortunately. He's got more important things to do, like the Formula E, but no one cares about that. This is the place to be. Simply Race, GB3, GB4, pre-event, social, I think. Prep, simulator preparation.
We're not messing around here. No, we're not messing around.
Well, here we are then, ready for racing. GB4 is officially back. We've had too long away from this fantastic racing, and in the commentary booth, of course, myself, Lewis McGlade, Piers Pry, who's just been throwing me under the bus on that lovely. Thanks, mate, by the way. We love having this back.
We love having a GB4 back. The racing is going to be great. We saw last time out at Silverstone, chopping, changing, slipstream battles. We're here, ready to do it all over again.
Yes, indeed. Now, qualifying has already happened. Now, already had a little bit of drama from that because, of course, we're not done with drama today. We had some in GB3. We've got some in this as well, of course. Megan Jilks, who was originally slated to start from pole position, will not. Max Maserati taking over in that position alongside Jack Sherwood, who did a very good job, by the way, interviewing you for Elite Motorsports. Jarrell Bursey and Megan Jilks moves back 3 positions courtesy of a penalty back in the previous round of Snetterton, which drops her down to 4th position. And then in 5th place, we will find the man himself, Nicholas Taylor, no longer leading the championship, having a bit of work ahead of him alongside Tom Mills in 6th position for that Kevin Mills racing car. Logan Hannah and Jessica Edgar will line up in 7th and 8th positions. Personal best qualifying for Logan Hannah, so doing very, very well. We welcome Marcus Short to the championship in the Hill Speed team, alongside the man, the myth, the legend, Christian Lester from 10th position. The final position on the grid being Chloe Grant. Now, Marcus Short's jumping into the championship, looking quite good already. And I will note as well, the 103% rule, more important obviously for Sunday. We'll go into that a little bit more. But this time everyone very, very comfortably within it, showing that the entire grid is getting faster and faster.
Amazing to see. The guys at the front are still pounding around with some excellent laps, but those at the back are learning. We can see that from the start of the year. We had a few drivers miss 103% and not be able to get that pole position for race 3. However, it looks like that all those drivers at the back have made improvements throughout the year, which is what they want to be doing. Everyone has to start somewhere. Everyone's learning and getting close together, which means the championship's getting even tighter every round we do. Great to see some new drivers on the grid. Marcus Short, spoke to him last night at the Simply Race social event, and I spoke to him. It was great to catch up with him and see how he did, see what he's done before. He's done a lot of racing in, for example, Citroen C1s. He's driven a Rover. He's driven a Noble or Mosler as well.
Whoa.
So big old powerful
Nice.
GT cars. Again, almost exactly the same as this GB4 car.
Exactly. Zero issues and differences there. Right, I'm going to very quickly, as they're lining up, Max Maserati, 8 podiums. Is this the time he gets that first victory?
I'm calling it. Max Maserati win.
It is a Max
what I'm
Maserati
calling.
win. Piers Pryor coming out with the statement. It has been a while since we went racing at Snetterton, of course. Round 16 of the championship. Christian Lester will line up on the final row alongside Chloe Grant, and we will get ready to go back underway in the GB4 Championship. Max Maserati on pole position with Jack Sherwood alongside. Round 16 of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, about to get underway here at Silverstone as we are underway. A good launch though from Logan Hanny, you can see there in the background, but it's top stuff from Max Maserati leading his way through turn 1. Tom Mills dropping back behind Nicholas Taylor, trying to already find his way through as they'll head side by side down towards Beckett's and Chapel, and at the moment Max Maserati is comfortably ahead with Jack Sherwood. Nicholas Taylor getting a little bit racy on the rear end of Megan Jilks at the moment, but as we come out of Chapel and onto the Hangar Straight, this is where Slipstream really takes over.
They are line astern as they started. No one making any moves up and down the grid really so far. However, you can see that train already. Maserati trying to break the toe already. He knows how powerful it is and how much that can make a difference to your whole race if you get overtaken at the start. Outside looks Sherwood.
Yeah, he's going to give it a go, but look at Megan Jilks, the fastest car in a straight line all weekend so far. A little bit too deep though from her teammate Max Maserati. The race leader is Christian Lester. Misses the apex coming through Stowe as they break coming down to the Vale chicane. It is Max Maserati still leading. I will note one thing, by the way, you'll see it's quite dark out here. There are some big clouds outside. Maybe we might see a little bit of rain here. We'll have to wait and see. Just onto the Hamilton Straight, already pulling it back over to one side to back over to the other as they get ready for Abbey. And Jack Sherwood is looking again. He's gone for the move around the outside. He's there. He's sent it and he's done it again. Jack Sherwood. Oh my goodness me! And Waberski straight over the rear end onto the back of Jack Sherwood, who will most certainly be out of this race. That was a massive moment.
Out of nowhere, Waberski thought he saw a gap, he went for it, thought he could go from third to first after that side-by-side action between Maserati and Sherwood, and unfortunately just misjudged the braking, and the front wheel hit the rear wheel, sent him up in the air, and it's good to see that they're both okay, but unfortunately that's probably going to end both their races.
Nick Taylor, I think, has come straight through into the race lead, courtesy of all that, past Max Maserati, his championship rival, whilst Tom Mills is also battling it out with Megan Jilks, dropping back now to 4th position, and I think you're right, there is a puncture on that rear left.
Megan Jilks, the left rear puncture probably from that contact. There's Gerald Waberski. Unfortunately, I think that was an error, just a misjudgment of braking, which caused that. Safety car is out.
Yeah, that is not a surprise. Of course, Jack Sherwood will also be stationary on the side, but there he is out of the car. So thankfully, at least from that side, we can see both drivers out straight away. Again, safety being critical, of course, in motorsport. A bit of a heart and mouth moment there for sure.
Yeah, of course, heart and mouth. You saw that car go off in the air. We never like to see cars get airborne because that's when obviously it's dangerous. You don't want to be around head height. They've got some of these cars. They've got the shark fin to deflect anything that come in their way. But unfortunately, these GB4 cars no halos we have in GB3. So maybe in the future those GB4 cars will have them. But they've got they're very safe tubs. Of course, we've seen that they are tried and tested and proven to be very safe. But great to see both drivers walking away uninjured. I think I saw on Sherwood's race suit a bit of. I think I saw a bit of the fire extinguisher. He probably pulled that out of just to be safe. That will obviously be a lot of work for the team to fix that car and also clean up all that fire extinguisher stuff. I can't remember what it's called. Powder. I don't know if it's. I think it's foam.
I don't know what it is in the. Mark Verrill's laughing behind us, but we won't go into that too much. Okay, so from a driver's point of view, you've had a crash like that. Talk us through the mentality straight after. I don't know how much you crashed in your.
I crashed more than I would like. Let's put it that way. Anyway, let's swiftly moving on.
Okay.
Let's concentrate on the cars that are currently still in the race. We've got Max Maserati, who did well to avoid that incident being on the outside when they caused contact. That lost him the lead. Taylor Again, some great manoeuvres, saw that coming, had a bit of space so he could use that and got himself into the lead. He's redeemed himself after what he said himself was a bit of a disappointing qualifying. Qualifying seems crazy, he's disappointed with Vic, but the pace he's been showing recently in the previous rounds, he's been the driver to beat. But those hill speed cars, Maserati and, there's Jared Wolverski looking very disappointed, understandably. But yeah, Maserati and Gilks looking very fast in qualifying. Now this is going to be a proper race. We've got Nick Taylor at the front. Yes. Max Maserati, he wants that win.
Yeah, and he'll be hungry for it, and he'll be mostly irritated that the person that's taken over that race lead is his championship rival.
Yes, of course. And we've actually still got Tom Mills in 3rd position. Logan Hanlon, she's come to 4th.
Done a super effort, like I say, just to come through some of the chaos. Of course, you can still see the lights are still on the safety car. Then naturally they're trying to get it out of the way. This will come down to a timed race, by the way. Whilst we know it's it's normally an 18-minute race, which means it should be a 9-lap race. We've got 13 minutes and 20 seconds left to go. We'll kind of discuss how long's actually going to be left. Speaking, by the way, of the poor qualifying from Nick Taylor, I showed him his qualifying stats of the season, and he was pleasantly surprised to realise that before this weekend he haven't qualified lower than 3rd, and in both races so far he's qualified lower than 3rd. He was very irritated by this, but a driver with so much potential, with so much learning. I mean, he's not really raced in anything even remotely closest. He's learning so fast.
He is. His first season in car racing, let alone single-seaters, let alone anything. So every time he's visiting the circuit, it's the first time he's raced there, although saying that, he has actually, of course, raced at Silverstone before because we've been there. Looks like Max Maserati might have a soft rear tyre as well, or was that just me seeing something?
He did
look a little soft, didn't it? Unless they're just running very low tyre pressures.
I think there's a bit of that. Now, actually, this is something that I kind of wanted to speak about after chatting to the drivers and stuff. It is a note that Max Maserati doesn't fire up his tyres quite as fast as everyone else. Like, he's not as much as he has those great starts. It then takes him a little bit longer to get actually up to speed. Now that could come from low pressures, right?
Potentially, it could be how you set up the car, it could be how you turn on those tyres in the warm-up, like you can see more weaving hard. We know these GB4 cars take a little longer to bring these tyres up. They're the same Pirelli tyres that they use in GB3 as well. The GB3 cars, of course, faster, more braking power, more aerodynamics, more speed, so they get a bit more heat in the tyres. But as you just pointed out, the wind out the window, it is definitely getting darker. It'll be interesting to see if we have a few spots of rain, what happens to the order.
Yeah, it looks like we'll be safe for now. I don't know what they'll be like if they have to make a pit stop. I
don't think that's actually realistically, especially if we're going to go again. Well, how long we've got? 11 minutes. So assuming we go with 9 minutes to go, that's not long enough to gain back a pit stop. So it'll pretty much be a race to the end. And if it does rain, it'll pretty much either be to the checkered flag or until a red flag.
Yeah, this is the whole thing. It's not like the New York E3. Where they rained so heavily in 30 seconds and went to an undrivable level. We'll have to wait and see what happens though. At the moment I think we'll be safe. Jack Sherwood's car is being removed and that looks heavily damaged.
Yes.
Right, I'm going to ask you another question on the old crash topic, but this is not about yours. Do you reckon that car will be good for tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's very fast.
Yes, yeah, the elite team, they've got some experience with this car. There's plenty of spares that they have in their truck. We've of course got the GB3 and GB4 truck here with lots of spares from the championship. Again, that might be a late night for them, fixing that rear wing, but assuming that the gearbox and the actual tub itself are not damaged, I genuinely think that Max Maserati might have a soft right rear tyre. Look at that.
Oh, do you see how much it...
Yeah, that's what I'm pointing at. Look at his left front wheel. When he turns, they can't see this way. Look, see it comes up in the air a little bit. Interesting to see.
He did pitch a lot at Vale, I saw
more than you'd expect. So either that's a rear roll bar that's broken, or he's got a soft tyre, but I'm thinking... Yeah, definitely soft. No, I'm sure that right rear tyre of Max Maserati's is gutting. Look, you can see, it's so disappointing to see. I don't think he's going to be able to race that. Look,
I saw how much
front wheel.
Yeah, you can see the front left wheel, right hand side of your shot as soon as he's turning to heat it up. Now, we can see that from here, but they're going very, very slow.
Yes.
He knows this.
He will be able to feel that, without a doubt. Without a doubt, you'll be able to feel that, even when you're going slowly. You can see that front tyre is almost locking. He's probably waiting. I'm not sure actually what the rules are in GB4 about pitting, but if he can pit under the safety car, assuming we'll do one more lap, he might at least be able to join the back of the field. There you go. Look, you see, that is 100% soft.
Yeah, like you say, there's no way that you're getting around that. It's just on the other side of the car. You can see it slightly.
Look at the wheel off the ground. So you can see that is only pitching because that that tyre is flat. So Maserati, hopefully, he'll be able to come in this lap. The Hill Speed car team will be ready for him. He can put a new tyre on, and then he can join the back of the pack ready for the start of the race, and he might be able to salvage some points. But unfortunately, the safety car is coming in this lap. That is going to be so disappointing for Max Maserati. I think he must come in now. He will know. He must come in, otherwise it's going to be dangerous, especially going down the field as well. You don't want to be a bit of a sitting duck between Maggots and Beckett's.
Yeah, like I say, maybe he needed to pit the lap before. Obviously the team will have been dealt with this. They'll discuss it afterwards. It looks like it's going to drop back though to 9th position because he can't surely race on that. Now we're about to go back racing. We have 9 minutes left to go. We're running roughly around about 2-minute lap times. By that we're looking at 5 laps of racing. Nick Taylor at the front at the moment, with Maserati expected to come into the pit lane. Tom Mills and Logan Hannah, who'll be up into 3rd position. There's Megan Jilks at the rear end of the train as Max Maserati did pull straight into pit lane. We're back under racing here at Silverstone, and Nick Taylor will have a comfortable lead over Tom Mills as they cross the line and race their way up the cop. Logan Hannah instantly looking racing.
She's got a great start right under the rear wing of Tom Mills there. Let's see if she can follow him through Maggots Beckett's and get a good run onto... Oh, we got a spinner!
Oh, it's Chloe Grant. Chloe Grant's been off. Christian Lester was also a little bit wide coming through the shot as well in the background, so I'm assuming might have been a bit of a touch between the two.
Potentially a touch there, or maybe one of them went side by side and got on the curb, which can unsettle the car. There's Max having his tyre changed. Let's hope that... Oh, we haven't got much long to go. That's really disappointing for Max, because he had such a good opportunity at a race win here.
Big shame. Of course, tomorrow he will start from pole position. Once again, Christian Lester, though, has Megan Jilks to worry about. That 64 has been the fastest car in the straight line in qualifying. In the practice that they had on Thursday and Friday, it is an absolute missile.
Yes, not just fast in straight line, though. Megan using that to good effect and being fastest overall in qualifying, only moving downwards because of penalty carried over from the previous round. But Tom Mills is actually catching Nicholas Taylor on this lap. If he can get any closer, he'll be right in the toe, and that could suck him up to the back, and we might see a battle for the lead before the race is up. 7.5 minutes remaining.
And Tom Mills is one that will be hungry for a race victory as well. He'll be hungry to be back on the podium, to be perfectly honest. Of course, he was in the podium in the last race of the season, but that was his first podium since Alton Park. A long time between podiums. Bit of a lock-up in the foreground as Logan Hannah also runs wide. Jessica Edgar really attacking at the moment in that Ford Tech machine, the red and white one behind, as Max Maserati back into the race, but very much last.
Yes, it'll be almost like a test session for Max here. He'll try and finish the race so he gets ahead of anyone who didn't finish, and he'll also be testing the car, thinking about what can be improved for the next race tomorrow, because of course going from pole again he gets another opportunity. That is Jessica Edgar fighting, and also a side-by-side there as well.
Marcus Short is just losing out of position to Megan Jilks. Logan Hannah still able to hang on from Jessica Edgar, who by the way is having a super drive at the moment, challenging for a podium in the first race here of the week, and absolutely stunning.
She's definitely come on since the start of the year. She probably wasn't the most confident in the car at the start of the year with not a huge amount of car racing experience, but she's coming on amazing. Like that last lap times are all so close, all front two, 2:03.6 from the leader Taylor, 2:03.4 from Mills, but then the next group all in the 2:04s, so not far off.
Yeah, as we've got 6 minutes and 20 seconds left to go, so expected to be 4 laps from this point that Nick Taylor has to deal with as he head back out onto the hangar straight. Now Tom Mills with that fastest lap, he'll be closing in, he'll be really trying to attack at the moment, try and get onto the rear end of Nick Taylor, but yeah, maybe Nick Taylor's playing the long game. We saw this at Donington Park, remember, where he led. He was so confident that he could keep Max Maserati behind him on that day that he almost slowed down to make sure that his tyres were still good for the next race.
That is forward thinking, and again, we mentioned it before, but maturity from such a young driver at an early stage of his career. He's looking like the real deal. He had a bit of a struggle in qualifying, but as we've mentioned before, it's how you deal with those setbacks that sort of marks you out as a driver. Resilience is something that teams will look for going forward in your career to racing GTs, because you hopefully get to Formula One. That's what we're looking forward to be able how you deal with difficult situations.
Well, Megan Jilks could be eyeing up a podium here as she is charging her way back up to the rear end of Jessica Edgar and Logan Hannah at the moment, that's in 3rd position right now. There's the Graham Brunton racing car of Logan Hannah and is being charged down now. You can see Jessica Edgar there, the 64 there of Megan Jilks. Very, very tight.
Very tight, although we said that Mills was catching on the back of Taylor, but Taylor responding with the fastest first sector of the race, 2.5 tenths in one sector faster than Tom Mills.
Absolutely stunning so far. Look at that, breaking the slipstream. Jessica Edgar did not follow Logan Hannah there, so has no aspirations of trying to attack for that position coming down into Brooklands, and so will settle at the moment for 4th as they dart their way through the corner.
Taylor, purple in the first sector, purple in the second sector. Those tyres are on. He is on a mission. He wants to win another race, but from 5th place this time.
But look at Megan Jilks' second sector, even 3/10 faster. That is how fast Megan Jilks is closing up to that podium battle. There's Nick Taylor coming through the foreground shot, and that number 66 racing him by 1.3 seconds now as he sets a 2:02.6. Instantly beaten though by Megan Jilks, who did a 2:02.5, as she is right there knocking at the door for the podium. She's surely guaranteed this at this point.
Yes, it's interesting actually. I was on the grid. We didn't mention this beforehand. Different tyre strategies from different teams. So the hill speed cars, 2 new tyres on the left-hand side, which is a clockwise circuit, so it will make more of an advantage. However, the other teams, pretty much everyone else, took 2 new tyres on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, my mistake. So there's differences in tyre strategy for the different teams.
Here we go though, Jessica Edgar is trying to attack. She was close. She was very close that time by just giving it a bit of a look. Carry on.
Yes, so I was saying that some teams have chosen to go with the left-hand side tyres and some teams have chosen to go with the right-hand side tyres. The hill speed cars, 2 new tyres on the left-hand side, because you only get 6 tyres total, so a full set and then a half set for the whole race weekend, so calling in the 3 races. Hill Speed have chosen this race to go 2 new on the left, so they will be a bit faster in this race, but then potentially a bit slower in the next one, whereas all the other teams, or pretty much all the other cars, in this race, 2 new tyres on the right-hand side, so they'll be less fast in this race, but hopefully that new rubber will last a little bit longer going into tomorrow and Sunday's final reverse grid race, because you're using it less with it being a clockwise circuit.
Yeah, they're playing the longer game in that sense. There is Max Maserati just driving around by himself, number 203.2, but he doesn't have the slipstream from anyone behind. And also, to be honest, no real reason to push. He's just driving around by himself. However, this trio very, very close. Jessica Edgar's going to be closer, trying to attack Logan Hannah coming down to Brooklands, but you've got to watch out for the Jilks missile absolutely charging down into Brooklands behind that 64, just waiting, 3rd car in shot. That opportunity is surely coming.
She will be hunting that podium down. It will be a great result for her if you can get a podium, Megan Jilks, and that white and blue hill speed car at the back of this group, because she had that puncture. She came into the pits. I believe she changed that tyre, did she not? And then she's back in the race.
Yeah, because she did it under the centre.
She did. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know if there will be any issue there. Oh, she's going inside.
Oh, big send. Looking down the inside at Cops Corner. She sends it on Jessica Edgar, who runs wide, and that'll be it. Side by side again. Backs out of it a little bit. I think Race Control might take a little bit of a look at that. Maybe.
Should be okay.
I think that one's fine.
Yep.
I'm sure we've got Race Control for a reason, but Jessica Edgar should be able to hang on to 4th position, both actually in this race and post-race. But at the moment, coming now out onto the hangar straight, this is Megan Jilks. This is where this car really excels.
She's got good straight line speed. She had a good exit out of Chapel onto the hangar straight. She's going inside. Edgar not quite covering the inside. She was almost all the way over, but not quite covering enough, and that's Jilks through her next target.
Nice clean move.
Very clean move. Yep. Made use of the gap on the inside. Again, good to see more respectful racing, drivers leaving themselves room, hard racing with fair racing, which is what we've seen all year in GB4, which is great to see for these a lot of the young drivers who are fairly early in their career. Hopefully that carries forward throughout their careers, and we can see that in junior formulas in other series.
Well, we've got the return of Christian Lester to the championship, who's in 7th position at the moment, doing a great job at the moment, looking for a personal best finish in the GB4 Championship. We've done 3 weekends before behind our debutant of Short, who's just hanging on at the moment to 6th position. But I've got to say, Christian Lester's putting on a lot of pressure right now. He's doing a great job.
It's looking racy. I don't know whether they've been out testing that Rosso Verde team in the black car, whether you can see Christian Lester's bright green helmet. You can't see him on screen now, but he was a moment ago. Christian Lester, again, one of those drivers who struggled for pace at the start of the year, missing 103%, but now he's well within that ballpark. He's definitely improved. He's enjoying his racing at the GB4 Championship, and it's good for him to have someone to race against and get that experience of wheel-to-wheel racing as well.
Yeah, super stuff. Again, like learning every single round that we see Christian Lester go racing. So this is really super stuff. Of course, Megan Jilks got up in the 4th position and is now very much attacking Logan Hannah as we head round Luffield and onto the final lap of this race. Taylor's leading comfortably, 2 seconds clear of Tom Mills. A big gap back though to this battle as Logan Hannah and Megan Jilks roll through the shot, running down that hill. It's a slight hill, it's not really a massive one, but it is a slight hill down towards Maggotts Beckett and Chapel. Surely the move's got to be down into Stowe again.
It must be that toe down Stowe, or potentially if she doesn't quite get close enough there, if she has a good middle sector, she can be right there for the Wellington straight going into Brooklands.
Well, here we go. A little bit wide there from Logan Hanna, and Megan Jilks will leave the corner nice and clean. A slightly tighter exit to give it a good straight line speed, getting on that power nice and early. Instantly starting to move it over one way, back over the other. The number 9 of Logan Hanna just trying to hang on. She's watching her mirrors. She's waiting for the dive bomb. Is Megan Jilks going for it? The answer is no, not yet. The 64 can't manage to get itself onto the podium. Megan Jilks will have to wait.
That was Logan Hanna doing some cheeky little tactics there, weaving on the straight, just trying to break that toe, just enough to stop the move coming, and she did a good job there. In the rules, it's one of those things where it's a bit sketchy, depends how aggressively you do it, but I think that was okay. But looks like Megan Jilks is right underneath the gearbox of Logan Hanna now in that blue and white Graham Brunton racing car.
Yeah, got to go to the outside though at Abby. Megan Jilks is going to try and send it in. This is what Jack Sherwood tried to do. He's going to have to back out of it. And there's a bit of a spin there from Logan Hanna as she drops it. Megan Jilks clears over the infield and rejoins. They head down into the Village and Loop complex, and Logan Hanna drops back now to 5th, maybe even lower than that, back to 7th potentially, because I think Short and Leicester are both coming through as well.
Jess Egger could be in here because with Megan Jilks going across the infield there and across the grass, her tyres will be very dirty and that can affect it. Look, she's trying to break the toe because she knows she's going to be vulnerable, but that was great side-by-side racing, and to be honest, even though Logan Hanna made a mistake there and spun, she did the better thing, which was almost sacrifice herself, so there was no contact.
Well, started from 5th position, has had to work for it this time, maybe got a bit lucky with the instance ahead, but Nicholas Taylor will retake over the championship lead as he comes across the line to win his 6th race of the GB4 Championship, and that will feel so good. You can see how much that meant to him in the cockpit. We'll welcome back to the podium once again Tom Mills, and across the line Megan Jilks getting it on the final lap of the race at Abbey. Those will be the 3 we'll be talking to post-race, but look at this battle across the line. Short just getting ahead of Leicester, just hanging on debut as well. Super effort, and by the way, at the end of the race, guess who got the fastest lap? Max Maserati.
Max Maserati on the final lap, just wound it up at the end, just to be like, you know guys, you got a good race in the front there, but I'm coming. I've still
got this
pole in the next race, remember? I'm calling a Max Maserati win. I'm calling it already. Max Maserati win race 2.
You did just jinx him.
I jinxed him in this race, and I'll probably jinx him again, but I have all faith in Max. He's been excellent this weekend, and Nicholas Taylor, he drove a very clean race. He kept out of trouble. I don't know how Max got that puncture. That's so unlucky. I didn't see any contact. Potentially, it was some of the debris from the crash between Waberski and Sherwood. Disappointing for both those drivers. Unfortunately, that was just one of those things. 3 into 1 does not go, but Taylor took advantage and won the race.
Yeah, a super effort, and Taylor taking another victory. Like I said, it's number 6 for Nicholas Taylor, and around where he may not have expected to actually outscore Max Maserati after Maserati started from pole position. That is how it is done. He's a driver that has a lot of confidence. Sometimes he's very, very harsh on himself, but that's the driver we know he is. Nicholas Taylor's got so much talent. There's Max Maserati though. He will be very, very disappointed for a multitude of reasons. Number one, he finished in a 9th position, which obviously is not where you want to finish after just taking over the Champions League. But also, it is his worst finish of the GB4 Championship. We've always said he's Mr. Consistency. As far as we can see from that, certainly was nothing he could do, not his fault. Just a product of circumstance that he picked up that puncture. Of course, we didn't see exactly where it came from. But Maserati losing out a whole heap of points, and the Championship League will return its way to Fortec and to the 66. Again, I said before, Tom Mills as well returning to the podium. He was on the podium in the previous race at Snetterton, but then it was a long, long time ago back in Alton Park that we saw. And Megan Jilks back on the podium, who's been finding some consistency. Has been a bit up and down in the Championship. We haven't seen her on the podium since Donington Park, and that victory from pole position. So a good effort, especially for a driver and a team just looked so fast. To remind you as well, Hill Speed in tomorrow's morning race, Hill Speed will start 1 and 2 on the grid, so looking very, very strong. And for a team and a car which is very fast in a straight line, they could well be very, very hard to beat. There is Max Maserati into the pit lane. I'm curious to see his take. Obviously, it's easy to be critical from our point of view as to why they didn't pit before on that first lap of the safety car. Now, the thing is, he might not have known because it might have been a slower puncture. We didn't really fully know from our point of view. And also, the teams do not have radios, so they have to kind of make the decision themselves by pit boards. And there he is, straight into the arms of a team manager who's already had a victory today in the form of the old Grand Force in the GB3 Championship, to take another one in GB4, all friends around, and brother as well, Nicholas Taylor, on top again. He has brought a few friends to this round, me not included, don't mind, but he has taken, he's put on a show for them. And like I say, to take another victory, to put himself clear in the standings realistically. He came into this 9 points behind, but with the massive swing there in the point standings, between it being first and ninth, it could not have got much worse for Maserati. Only a retirement would have properly added to that. And you can see Megan Dilks coming straight over. Big congratulations to them all over the place. And oh, Nick Dilks as well, giving congrats, obviously GB3 driver, and so like I say, coming over and giving a big cheer to all of the drivers, and I'm sure they're all giving their congrats as well to Tom Mills as well, who will be behind also, and you can see who's sneaking.
I mean, the drivers are just going to talk to each other. It's all good. Hello, Nicholas Taylor. Oh, hang on, Nicholas Taylor needs to do something. Oh, he's just put his helmet down. Hey, so we didn't get a chance to chat before, but you probably weren't very happy with qualifying, but I mean, you took advantage of that little clash out there and, you know, you went through and you held it together.
Yeah, I mean, quali was not really good for us, and we made some few changes, and I think Mark did pretty well.
And it's a kind of double whammy for you because Max Maserati, who came into this leading the championship, had a puncture there and ended up right down the back.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty lucky to avoid all the carnage at that corner. I mean, it was pretty scary. I saw one car on top of the other. I hope everyone's okay, but I mean, it was pretty intense.
Yeah, everyone is fine, but you know, you started 5th there. I believe you're starting 4th tomorrow in the race tomorrow morning. Can you do it again?
Hopefully. I mean, I think it looks like it's going to rain, so maybe that. I mean, everyone says they're quick in the wet, so maybe it's time for me to show it.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Well, Nick, we're going to let you go and celebrate with your family, who I'm sure are here. Nice one. Nice to see you back there. We're going to get Tom Mills now, chatting with his dad. Hey, Tom. Congratulations. You came from a little way back there and managed to make it through in P2.
Yeah, it's been a tough few days. We've not quite had the pace, but I knew 6th. It was still in the mix. I had the chance to move forward, and then got a little bit lucky with the crash in front. I hope everyone's alright. I didn't see.
Yeah, I think they're fine. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I just kept my head down. Taylor was just a little bit too much today, so I was just careful on track limits and things like that, so just brought her over in 2nd, which is quite a good result, and yeah, good result for the team. With 1 car out, it was good to be able to bring over Podium.
Absolutely, considering where you started, it's a good result as well, and I guess behind you with Logan Hanna tussling with Megan Dilks, it kind of left you to, you know, be happy with that 2nd, solid points, and move on to tomorrow's race, well, the first race tomorrow.
Yeah, on the safety car restart, Max had a puncture and he sort of held me up a bit through Luffield, so Taylor had gone, and once you break the toe, it's very hard to get back here, so and then when I saw them fighting, I knew there wasn't much to be gained or lost, so just took it steady-o and brought the car home in 2nd. So.
Okay, well, it's all good. Congratulations, P2, Tom Mills from Kevin Mills Racing. We'll move over and speak to Megan Dilks now. Hey, Megan, some great racing there with Logan Hanna towards the end. I mean, I have to move. I let you behind the scenes. I have to move, so I kind of have to leave the end of the race and make sure I'm here so I can talk to you now. And obviously, Piers was commentating there, but I want to hear what happened from your point of view.
What, at the end on the last lap?
Yeah, I mean, was it? Did you just push her and she made a mistake, or what happened?
Oh no, I was on the outside at Abby, and she just tried to squeeze me off the track a bit, run me out of road, and then she spun. And as she spun, the back of her car sort of bumped into mine, sent me off at Abby, and then yeah, I rejoined the track just ahead of Jess.
You went the scenic route, yeah?
I took the scenic route, yeah, and made it back on the track, okay, just ahead of Jess Edgar, and managed to hold on to that position for a podium.
Excellent stuff. Another trophy. No, Piers has a question for you here.
At what point did you know you had the puncture?
It was at the safety car. Pretty much as soon as it came out, I realized I started locking my front brakes, even though, you know, we were going at what, like 30 miles an hour behind the safety car. So I thought, oh, there's a problem. And I could feel, as I was driving in a straight line, the steering wheel pulling to the right. So I thought it was a front puncture. But then as the very long safety car lap progressed, I could actually see the rear tire delaminating in my mirrors. So I knew at that point I had to come into the pits, and the boys did an excellent job to get me back out there on the same lap as everyone else. So can't thank the team at Hillspeed enough for making this podium possible.
Some great moves as well there from basically the back of the grid and from the pit lane. So let's talk, what was your favourite moves there?
I was quite pleased with the move on the last lap, even though it ended up with Logan spinning off into me and me ending up on the grass. To try the outside at Abbey was a good effort. I was also, I think all of the moves, to be honest, took a little bit of guts just with the dirty air, sending it down the inside, outside. I didn't care where. I just went for it. So.
Megan, we've got to cut in there. You need to go to a podium.
Yeah,
and so do we. We'll hand over. Megan Jukes with Hillspeed there coming third. We'll hand over to Lewis McGlade, who will talk you through the podium ceremony.
Wow, thank you again for the interview. I was told that John Jackson is the jinx master. On this occasion, not so much. Nick Taylor coming out on top. That was one of the things. We were told not to get too close on the interviews with Nick Taylor and too much pre-race, purely based on the fact of every time they do catch up or get caught up with John Jackson, it normally goes a bit sideways. This time, not so much. Again, you know how I like to do it on the points to keep you up to date. 354 points Nicholas Taylor will have, and it will give him a 14.14 point clear lead over Max Maserati. So he does retake the championship lead. And an important time as well. Some more movement in the championship, by the way. After the podium for Tom Mills, his second consecutive podium, it will be movement up in the championship to 4th place, moving up 1 spot over Jack Sherwood, who will actually drop back 2 behind not only Tom Mills but also behind Megan Jilk. So a bit of a shame, especially for Jack Sherwood after taking that victory at Snetterton. It was a stat coming into it that he had. Hi, John. It was a stat coming into it that he had 5 consecutive podiums. There's Megan Jilk back on the podium for the first time since her Donington Park victory, and she will take yet another trophy in the stands. Of course, has a couple of race wins. There's Tom Mills, second consecutive podium for him, and of course, the last time we went racing around here, he really showed his racing prowess. And then Nicholas Taylor. Is there anyone at the moment that can beat this man? Max Maserati is a solid yes on that one, but after races like this, it becomes a bit difficult. A very well-deserved victory. Kind of just picked his way through all of the carnage, and Nicholas Taylor on top for the 6th time. Needs to use this to bounce back and find some consistency, aiming for a podium potentially tomorrow rather than just the straight-up victory. But Nicholas Taylor just showing exactly the credentials that he brings to the Fortec team, all of them receiving the photographs that will definitely be printed out and posted next to the trophies. Got to be. Because after a good round like this, you know, you always want to savour the memories. All of these drivers do seem to get along for the most part as well. So you know, there's some nice cherished memories, at least among mates. And so we'll see them back tomorrow morning when we go racing in the early morning race for GB4 tomorrow. And again, Megan Jilks will start that one from front row again. Max Maserati will start from pole position. From there, because after a day like this, he needs to bounce back. If there was ever a time that Max Maserati needed a victory, then it is now. Because after a round like that, it's tough. It is really tough. There is the 88 that belongs to Short, of course in the new livery, by the way, for the Hillspeed car. Whilst we've got the duo of Megan Jilks and of Max Maserati for Hillspeed, they've got a slightly different livery than their teammate that follows on from the livery that they've actually got in GB3. Where they hold this new red and white livery that's I quite like it. It's a bit easier to pick those ones apart from the Vortex, and I'm a simple man, so all of that stuff is a lot easier. Well, John is standing by once again. We'll catch up and see who he's got.
Right now, we're trying to find some drivers here, but obviously 2 of the drivers aren't back here yet, and that is Jared Waberski and Jack Sherwood, who had that coming together. And I just want, Piers, I just want you to just talk us through that, because you know I was watching and I was still a little unsure who was at fault or maybe what happened.
So unfortunately, we've only seen the one camera angle that we saw in the race. Again, I had the luxury of a nice big screen in front of me, so I think I saw it better than potentially some. it looked like after the awesome move that Sherwood pulled around Maserati around the outside of Abbey, which is completely, he kept it pinned, went on the outside, 2 wheels on the grass. How they got through there together, I don't know, but amazing move. They then were both slowed because of that, and Voberski then saw an opportunity sent down the inside of both of them, but then Sherwood covered potentially a bit late. Again, this is the bit we haven't seen, what we might see in replays, or we'll hear from the stewards. But that is a bit of a misjudgment in the braking. Voberski went at the inside, Sherwood covered the line, front wheel to rear wheel sent Voberski's front in the air, landed on the back of Sherwood's car. Of course, a DNF for both of them. Very disappointing for Sherwood, having just taken the lead, and also Voberski, because he doesn't want to cause any incidents. He was just trying to make some positions up. That might have caused the puncture for Max Maserati as well on his rear tyre. If there was some debris that got thrown across the track, or it could have just been anything.
Quite likely though.
Yeah, potentially, because it was right there. And then Nicholas Taylor taking advantage of that, seeing it all unfold ahead, placed his car well, managed to get past Maserati down the Wellington Straight, and then that was it. He was gone.
And that's what Tom Mills just said there. In his mind, Tom Mills was like, I've just got to stay out of trouble here, because, you know, when you see something like that going in front, the first thing is don't get involved in it. The second one is, you know, you have to think, how can I make up some places here?
Yeah, it's the old adage. I know it's sort of cliche, but to finish first you have to finish.
Yeah.
And Tom Mills, again, he would have been disappointed not to have done what Nicholas Taylor did and jump everyone and get into the lead, but another second place, another podium. Building points, building consistency, building confidence. It'd be great for him. But again, Nicholas Taylor from 5th place, we know he was a bit down after qualifying. It wasn't his normal bubbly and chatty self. He wanted to just focus on the race, and it paid off.
Now, in terms of the championship race, it'll be obviously very interesting with Max Maserati going into this, pole position in both races, championship leader, him finishing right down the back there with Nicholas Taylor storming through to win. I mean, that's completely changed everything, and that's the great thing about GB4 we're finding, is that you never know what you're going to expect when you watch a race, and you never know how it's going to end in the championship after each race.
Exactly, the unpredictability. Considering the grid isn't the biggest, we've got so much racing all through the field, the unpredictability. Max Maserati leading the championship coming into this round, having not won a race. That shows how consistent he's been, but he's had lots of podiums. And Nicholas Taylor, the winningest driver in GB4 this year.
That's a very American term you're bringing to the table here,
Piers. The winningest driver, but he's obviously had a couple more issues, and which has meant that he's not quite there in the championship, but that win has helped, especially with Maserati's unfortunate puncture.
It has indeed. Now we're gonna try and find. Megan Jokes is walking back here. We'll just, you know, can we just see the trophy, Megan? Just have a close up here. I'll hold it for you. There you go. Race one. Just checking it's all good. Just checking, you know, everyone behind it. Yeah, they've got the right place. That's fine. Yeah, good. Well, we'll see you tomorrow for the next race. Congratulations. We're going to walk and talk here because I'd like to try and find Logan Hanna. Obviously, Megan was talking about how you know, Logan kind of made that mistake there, and
just really unfortunate.
Her slightly. Not entirely sure she's around. A lot of the drivers, if things like that happen, I mean, you've been there and done it, right?
Disappointed, yeah.
They don't want to be hanging around. We still
Should
have
we chat to Marcus Short after his first race at GB4?
Voberski. Go and get him, Piers.
Yeah, I'll go get him.
We haven't heard from Marcus Short yet. Obviously, we do have a couple of new drivers on the grid, one in GB4 and one in GB3. We've also already heard from Ayrton Ori, who's driving in GB3, getting used to the car, finding that he's making up a second every time he gets in every session. So, I mean, you know, it does take a lot of getting used to if you're coming into these cars, but you've seen what he's done there. And here we go. I mean, we were going to welcome you earlier, but things got away from us. And how was your first experience racing in the GB4 Championship?
Really good, really good. I was not expecting a P5 after qualifying, so yeah, I've struggled trying to adapt to my first time in a single-seater, but I couldn't be happy with P5 there, and yeah, just kept out of trouble and it worked. So.
I noticed you've got some hand wraps on. Looks like you're about to go out for a bit of a boxing match. What are they for?
I've been getting blisters on my hands just because I'm not used to what I've been driving before as power steering. This doesn't, so yeah, been having to wrap myself up to avoid that, but no, it doesn't matter when you're out there, you don't feel it.
Just when you get back in, isn't it? So these cars obviously a bit more physical to drive than some of the other cars you've driven?
Yeah, much more physical. It's completely different to anything I've done before, but I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, great to hear. Well done in your first race. That was a great result to start off. I'm sure you're very happy with that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, well, we got a couple more races coming up tomorrow, and we're going to have a chat to you away from when you're actually in your race suit and everything, and we'll get to know you a bit better for people watching at home who've not known what you've done before, and we'll get to know you as well. So congratulations on that finish, and we'll speak tomorrow.
Thank you.
Nice one. There we go. Always nice to see new drivers on the grid. And I was just saying there in my head that racing drivers, and you're obviously a racing driver yourself, they seem to buy more tennis grip than tennis players. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like they just wrap it around the steering wheels. I mean, we probably can't look into one of the cars here, but it's
there's
it's
a car
a very
here.
serious job.
No, that one
isn't
hasn't
it?
got a wrap on it. But
we're trying to see if there's any other drivers around. I mean, I would
Christian
quite
Lester's
like
car
to chat
here.
to Logan Hanna. She's in the background there. Let's have a look. I might have to send Piers on one of his little missions. Piers, would you like to go and get Logan Hanna from behind me there? There we go. We can watch Piers. Logan Hanna.
That was
Logan
a hard
Hanna
no.
is giving you the international signal for please don't talk to me. But that's fine. We understand it. I mean, you know, to be in that position and to lose it like that when you're so close to the finish, it's not ideal, is it?
The limits are so fine, or the margins are so fine. And when you're racing on the limit, trying to keep the position and not make a mistake, you know, she did the right thing and trying to avoid contact there. So really unfortunate for Logan. That would have been a great podium for her, but I'm sure she'll come back stronger tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, we'll catch up with Logan tomorrow, I'm sure, you know, when everything has settled there. And I mean, I'm trying to see other drivers, but as I say, with the two drivers that clash still not back to the pits here, we're very, very limited in who we've got around. I know Jess Edgar was around, but she's gone back to her trailer now, and we have to respect the drivers. We don't want to go into their trailers and invade their personal space. So, I mean, you know, an exciting race there. It's, I mean, GB3 last weekend was fairly exciting at Spa, and we've seen the GB4 has still got everything we need there, and we've got two more races coming tomorrow. I'll be very excited to see if Nick Taylor can make up. You know, we went into this earlier on after qualifying saying Max Maserati, you know, he could absolutely storm ahead in the championship now. One race down, he's already been pegged back slightly, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, and Max Maserati fastest lap in the race just gone as well.
Yeah, so he's got the pace. Let's see what he does tomorrow. We're back, first of all, with GB3, though. 2 GB3 races, 2 GB4 races tomorrow morning. GB3 will be back live around 9:30 in the morning, but you can check the full schedule online on the GB4 website and the GB3 website as well. And make sure you're following all the social channels. And if you missed any of both the races we brought to you today, you can re-watch them on the MSV YouTube channel. We'll see you at 9:30 tomorrow morning for the second race here at Silverstone this weekend in the GB3 Championship.